So let's talk about one of the most misused ideas in the entire tech world, the minimum viable product, or MVP. A lot of people think it's just about building a cheap, stripped-down version of their idea, but that's not it at all. A real MVP is like a blueprint. It's what you create before you start building, to make sure you're not about to sink a whole lot of time, money, and passion into a dead end.
And that brings us to a question you have to ask yourself, and you have to be honest. Are you actually building a product that people will use, or are you just wasting resources? Because, let's be real, the stakes are incredibly high. Getting this wrong is the #1 reason so many amazing ideas never get off the ground.
Okay, first we need to talk about a huge pitfall. I call it the common MVP trap, and believe me, even the smartest teams fall into it all the time.
And here it is. This is the trap. The biggest risk you face isn't some technical glitch or blowing a deadline. No, the single biggest, most devastating risk is spending months, maybe even years, pouring your heart into creating something that nobody actually wants. An MVP, when you do it right, is your shield. It's your defense against this exact nightmare scenario.
So, how do we dodge that trap? Well, it all starts by laying a rock-solid foundation. This is the very first part of our blueprint, and it's all about defining your core objective with absolute, crystal clarity.
Everything, and I mean everything, starts right here. What is the one specific pain point you are trying to solve? And I'm not talking about a list of 10 different things. I mean the one core problem. If you can't nail this down in a single clear sentence, that is your first major red flag. You've got to be brutally specific.
All right, next up, who are you solving this problem for? And listen, everyone is the worst possible answer. You need a detailed profile of a very specific group of people. Are they freelance graphic designers? Are they new parents trying to track sleep schedules? The more specific you get, the easier it becomes to build something that feels like it was made just for them.
Now this gets right to the heart of what an MVP is all about. You're not trying to build a full product just yet. What you're doing is testing a single, key promise. What's that one unique benefit you're offering that's going to make people's ears perk up? This becomes the core hypothesis, the big question your MVP is designed to answer.
Okay, once you've got your objective locked in, you need to define your destination. What does winning actually look like? And just as important, what is the absolute bare minimum you need to build to find out if you're on the right track?
Look, success can't just be a gut feeling. It has to be something you can measure. You need to decide on your key metrics before you write a single line of code. Are you looking for engagement? A certain conversion rate? And you need to set a number. What's the minimum threshold you need to hit to say, okay, yep, this is working, let's keep going. This gives you a really clear finish line.
This part right here is all about discipline. It's where you have to be ruthless to keep the minimum in MVP. Your included list should be painfully short. It should only have the absolute must-haves to test your main promise. Everything else, no matter how cool it seems, goes on the excluded list. It can wait.
So you've got your objective, you know what success looks like, and you've set the scope. Now it's time for a quick reality check. How are you actually going to get this thing built and, more importantly, in front of real people? This is the practical, boots-on-the-ground part of the blueprint. What's your real budget? What's the timeline we're working with? Who's on the team? Your scope has to line up with these real-world limits, because an amazing plan without the resources to back it up is, well, it's just a daydream.
And finally, how are you going to prove your idea with actual customers? You need a super simple, clear plan. Are you going to use a clickable prototype? A small pilot program? Who are you going to test it with? 5 users? 50? And how are you going to collect what they say in a structured way? See, this isn't about guessing. It's about systematically learning.
So you run your test. Now what? A great blueprint doesn't just get you to the starting line. It actually tells you what to do after the race. It prepares you for the 2 roads you can take from here.
If you hit those success metrics you set earlier, awesome. Your blueprint should already map out the next phase of development. But what if you don't? Well, that's not failure. That is a huge learning opportunity. A solid plan includes ideas for how to pivot. Maybe you had the right problem, but the wrong solution. Or maybe you had the right solution, but for the wrong customer. Finding that out is a win.
And all of this brings us to the one final critical question you need to ask yourself. Before you do anything else, you have to be able to answer this. What is the single most important thing this MVP needs to achieve? If you can answer that with total clarity, then you're not just building another product.
you're on your way to building a product that truly matters.